All right, a very good afternoon to everyone. The Second Region Child Protection Court Number 1, Chambers County, is now in session. We have one matter on our docket this afternoon. We are proceeding by agreement virtually and pursuant to Texas Government Code 24.017 and 74.094. Good afternoon, Ms. Dick.
Your Honor, I apologize. My witness is having trouble getting on, and she had lots of questions, so I need to get Ms. Bynum to call her. I need to text Ms. Bynum real quickly and ask her to call her.
All right, if you will, first let me know that you can hear me.
It's a little muted.
All right, can you hear me any better this time, Ms. Dick?
I can hear you. It's just a little muted. It's not the normal sound.
All right, what about this? Is it any different, still muted?
I'm not hearing a difference, but I can hear you.
All right, let me see if the others can hear me. Ms. Ivory Lindsay, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Hi, Judge. Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. Let's see, we are waiting, I believe, on Ms. Trousdale and Ms. Iverson. So, Ms. Dick, go ahead and touch base with Ms. Bynum.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Yes, and I'll get you muted so you can do that.
Good evening, Judge. This is Williams. Ms. Iverson should be logging on shortly.
All right, Ms. Williams, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir, loud and clear.
All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Dick, I believe your witness is here. Hi, doctor. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. We will get started momentarily. Ms. Williams, excuse me, I'm sorry. Can you tell me Ms. Trousdale's ETA one more time, please?
Yes, sir, I haven't heard from her yet, but I can double check. I'm not sure if she went to the jail or not.
Okay, and that would be because her client is there.
That is correct. I seen an email that was stating that she was supposed to be logging on, but I'm not sure if that's
okay.
accurate.
If you don't mind terribly touching base with her, I believe we have Dr. Frog with us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Judge, if I could just ask what the plan is. If we are not finished by the time I've got to go in with my girls to the doctor's appointment, are we trying to resume after that today, or are we going to call it a day?
Yeah, we're going to try to resume after that. I have my alarm set for 1:45 to let you go. If that's not good, let me know. And then we hope to be able to resume. Maybe you can give us a rough estimate before you leave.
Well, once I'm leaving, it's okay. The girls can just be quiet. But I mean, I'm also going to have to, just so you know, I'll be on mute, but I'm going to have to go pick them up in 19 minutes at the school. So that's a little bit of a disruption too, but I'll stay on.
All right. Well, we will do our best to navigate all of that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and call the case, even swear in the witness so we can be ready to go as soon as Ms. Trousdale logs on. Calling cause number Department of Family and Protective Services versus Ana Galvan and Danny Aguilar for a motion to participate. This is the continuation of the hearing. I believe we have the mother appearing today via Zoom, like we all are. Ms. Galvan, if you will unmute, start your video, just announce your appearance.
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. I have you marked present. You can go back to mute. We do now have Ms. Trousdale. What about Ms. Trousdale's client, respondent, Father Danny Aguilar? Danny Aguilar? Danny Aguilar? All right, no answer. No one's presently in the waiting room. I do not see or hear him on Zoom. Is he still in Chambers County Jail, Ms. Trousdale?
Yes, sir, he is.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, is everyone ready? All right, and Ms. Dick, you may call your next. Ms. Dick, you're on mute, hoping you can hear me.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to call the mother.
Well, Ms. Dick, you do know we have Dr. Frog here.
I do, and I can call her first. I just don't want to lose the mother in terms of either. I need both of them. So let me start with Dr. Frog then.
All right, so let me go ahead and I'll swear both of you in simultaneously, and we'll hear from Dr. Farag first. I'm sure she has as busy of a schedule as we do. So if you both raise your right hands to be sworn, please. Ms. Galvan, thank you. Do you all swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God. Yes, yes?
I do.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Galvan. You can go back to mute, please, ma'am. Thank you. Ms. Dick, you may proceed.
Okay. Dr. Frog, will you state your name and spell it for the record?
WAFAA, last name FARAGMD.
All right, thank you. And how long have you been employed as a psychiatrist?
More than 20 years.
Right. And are you currently licensed in the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long does the license normally last before you have to renew it?
Excuse me, ma'am?
How long does a license last before you have to renew it?
I think it's every year.
Okay. And what procedures did you have to complete in order to become licensed?
I had to graduate medical school. I had to do 5 years of residency and fellowship. I had to pass the board of psychiatry and neurology. Then we have to do continuing medical education to renew our licenses.
Thank you. And can you tell us your educational background in terms of where you went to undergraduate and where you went to medical school?
And Judge, just for the record, if this would kind of speed along, I'll stipulate to her being an expert judge. I don't have any objection to her being a qualified psychiatrist.
All right, Ms. Ivor Lindsay, thank you. Ms. Trousdale, Ms. Iverson.
All right.
Let me get their stipulations, if at all.
Yes, sir, I'll stipulate to that.
All right, thank you.
I will as well.
All right, thank you very much. All right, the court does hereby admit Dr. Frog as an expert. You may continue, Ms. Dick.
Okay. So how did you become involved with the present case,
She was referred to me by CPS for psychiatric evaluation.
All right. And when your parents referred to you, what documents do you receive from CPS?
We received the referral. Hold on, I'm just reviewing my notes.
And Judge, I'm gonna object if she's testifying from a document that's not admitted in evidence.
Just the CPS records.
Okay.
Okay. At
So,
this time, Your Honor, I
Dr.
just introduce
Dr.
petition
Frog,
exhibit 1,
Yes.
psychiatric
You'll need
evaluation.
Hello?
You'll need to testify from your memory. If you feel that you need your memory refreshed by viewing your notes, just let us know. We'll give you time to do that. But don't read or testify from a document that's not in evidence. All right.
Okay. So.
Okay. Your
just-
Honor, excuse me.
Wait for the next
Sorry,
question.
could I ask at this time that the psychiatric evaluation be admitted as petitioner's exhibit number 1?
All right, any objections?
Judge, I do have an objection. I don't believe the foundation has been laid for whatever psychiatric whatever evaluation she's trying to admit. I don't know what the document is. Just
Okay, you received the psychiatric evaluation done by Dr. Farag. Is that correct, Ms. Lindsay?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. It sounds like you were. It said.
All right. I circulated the psychiatric evaluation at the time prior to this hearing. Did you receive it?
I don't know. When was it sent? Was it sent today?
It was sent today.
Okay. No, I haven't looked at it, but I mean, if you want to lay the foundation for it, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, at this time, well, let me go on with my questions for her at this time. And if she needs to refer to notes to refresh her memory, she can do that. All right. With regards to Anna Galvan, what type of evaluation were you asked to do with this client?
Psychiatric evaluation.
All right. And what areas do you normally cover with a patient during an evaluation?
Her history of present illness. We give them a lot of questionnaire to answer. We get their medical history, drug and alcohol history, social history, abuse history, family history. We do the mental status exam, and that's it.
All right. And so you asked background information and history of present illness, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. And was there anything outstanding in the background information that she provided to you?
What is the question again?
Was there anything outstanding in terms of what Ms. Galvan reported as to why she got involved with CPS?
Yes, ma'am. You know, she was doing.
And Judge, I would object to non-responsive after yes, ma'am.
Sustained.
Okay.
All right. Why did Ms. Galvan become involved with CPS?
She tried to decide on.
Judge, I would object to speculation unless she had personal knowledge from Ms. Galvan.
Sustained unless Ms. Galvan told her.
Yeah, she told me that she tried to commit by overdose on medication.
All right. And what other types of issues do you normally screen for when you're going through the psychiatric evaluation?
The drug and alcohol history was very prominent in this case.
Okay, and can you tell us what she reported regarding her drug and alcohol history? Did she indicate when that history began?
She indicated using fentanyl for about 4 years, using coke. I don't remember.
And Judge, again, I will object from reading from a document that's not admitted in the evidence, if that's what's happening.
All right.
That is.
Again, doctor, don't read or testify from a document not in evidence. If you need to refresh your memory and look at your notes, let me know and we'll give you a moment to do that.
That was from my memory. I'm not. Your page is in front of me. I can't get out of it to refer to my notes.
All right. Okay. Sometimes it's hard to discern when we're virtual like this, but you may continue, Ms. Dick.
Okay. Did she tell you how she ingested fentanyl?
That I don't remember.
Okay. Did she indicate when she began her history of drug and alcohol abuse?
She told me about the fentanyl for 4 years. She gave me a history of alcohol and cocaine use. I don't recall for how long, but it's in my notes.
All right. And you're saying you can't refer to your notes?
Do you want me to refer to my notes? I can, but you have to allow me.
You can use your notes to refresh your memory.
Okay.
And Judge, I'm gonna object. I don't believe the proper foundation was laid for her to say she needed her memory refreshed. I don't believe the correct questions were asked, Judge.
Sustained.
So I don't look at the notes?
Not yet, if at all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Your Honor, I need one moment, please.
All right, you may have a moment.
Thank you. Okay. What other issues did you screen for? Such as
Bipolar disorder?
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, ma'am.
What did she state regarding a generalized anxiety disorder?
Yeah, she admitted to a lot of symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder as well as post-traumatic stress disorder.
All right, and did she indicate what the sources of the post-traumatic stress disorder were?
She did. If you allow me to go to my notes, because I have a lot of patients, I just don't memorize everything. I'm sorry.
All right, and are you going to simply review your notes to refresh your memory on what the interview brought out from Ms. Galvan? I'm sorry, did you hear me?
Yes. She was raped by a cousin at the age of 15, physically abused by ex-boyfriend for 3 years. Ex-husband videotaped her making...
And Judge, again, I'm going to object to reading from a document that's not in evidence. If she wants to refresh her memory and then testify to it, but not read directly from the document, that's not in evidence.
Sustained.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay, so were there any other issues that she brought out that were significant regarding her psychiatric history?
Psychiatric history, no, but she has medical history as well.
I would object to non-responsive after psychiatric history, no.
Okay, no.
Okay. What medical problems does Ms. Galvan have?
SLE and fibromyalgia.
Okay. And did she indicate that her most recent relationship with the father of her children included abuse incidents?
And Judge, I'm going to object to leading.
Sustained.
Okay. What other history did Ms. Galvan include regarding her relationships or her relationship with the father of her children?
Physical abuse, and as I recall, he videotaped her having sex with another man.
Did Ms. Galvan indicate that she had received any treatment for this abuse and trauma?
No.
Okay. Were you scheduled to have another appointment with Ms. Galvan?
Yes.
Okay. When was that appointment set up for in relation to the day that you met with her? Was it 2 weeks, a month?
2 weeks after.
Okay. And did she show up for that appointment?
Yes, yes, she did.
Okay. And at that time, were treatment options discussed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what treatment were you recommending to her?
I was recommending starting a medication called buprenorphine for the treatment of opioid dependence, and another medication for the treatment of bipolar disorder.
All right. And did she go through with those treatments?
I only saw her only once. She didn't come after that. So,
And Judge, I would object to non-responsive after I only saw her once.
Sustained.
okay.
Did you have any further appointments with Ms. Galvan?
I'm not sure if we I didn't see her again, but I don't know if she was scheduled and not show. I
And
don't.
Judge, I would object to I didn't see her, or I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't remember what the first part of the question was.
Sustained. Sustained.
I asked, did you have any further appointments with Ms. Galvan?
No.
Right. Given her evaluation, was that normal?
Excuse me?
Given her evaluation, was that normal?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What is the most important issue that Ms. Galvan needed to address to begin healing from the substance abuse and trauma she's experienced?
Her underlying bipolar disorder and also her PTSD, as well as generalized anxiety disorder.
Did you ever recommend inpatient treatment for her?
No.
What treatment would you have advised her to undergo?
Just to continue seeing me as an outpatient.
All right. And you did not have any further contact with her, correct?
No.
Right. Based on your professional experience, how long would a patient with similar diagnoses normally take to start the process of recovery?
Every patient is different, ma'am. We don't have a time frame.
All right. Would she be able to do it on her own without any professional treatment?
Absolutely not.
All right. And in terms of, well, her addictions began how early in her life?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance at this point. As far as time frame, Judge, I mean, I understand that we're here because they want her to do services, but to now go back to, I don't know, high school, teenage, I mean, I just have an objection to the time frame and relevance.
Yeah.
And
Overruled. You may answer if you recall what the mother told you.
I don't recall, but it was long time.
All right.
okay.
Next question.
All right. And based on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most serious, where would you have rated this patient in terms of the abuse and trauma history?
I would say 8.
All right, thank you. Is there anything else that you believe needs to know about this patient at this time?
No.
Okay, thank you. No further questions. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ivor Lindsay.
Dr. Farag,
Yes, ma'am.
do you recall, was it in April of this year that you saw Ms. Galvan?
Yes, I saw her.
Okay. And then you stated that you saw her one more time after that, correct?
No, only I saw her one for evaluation and one at the end of April for follow-up.
Okay. And during that follow-up, did you prescribe Ms. Galvan any medication?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was that medication?
A medication called the buprenorphine, and that's for opiate dependence, and another medication for bipolar disorder.
Okay, and Dr. Farag,
Yeah.
how are you paid for your evaluation and any follow-ups? Does the defendant pay, well, does Ms. Galvan pay you, or is CPS paying you?
Well, okay. I'm not sure what is the relevance of this question to.
Okay, objection not relevant.
And
Well, overruled. So, Ms. Lindsay, if you will, please repeat your question.
okay, Dr. Farag, when you are paid for your services, as far as the evaluation and the follow-ups, does Ms. Galvan pay you through her insurance, or does CPS cover the cost?
CPS covered the cost.
Okay. And are you aware if CPS was going to continue to cover your costs for Ms. Galvan to continue to see you?
Yes.
Okay. So at no point in time there weren't any billing issues as far as Ms. Galvan being able to continue to see you?
No problems.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right, thank you. Dr. Farag, how many refills did those prescriptions have?
I didn't have refills.
So they were for a period of what, 1 month?
1 month, yes.
All right. And did you and the mother schedule an appointment 1 month approximately from the April 2024 appointment?
There were only two scheduled, and that's it. The 2 times that I saw her, there were no more appointments.
So would she have had to come in, make an appointment, come in and see you in order to get a refill on those 2 prescriptions?
Correct, or do it virtually.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And all right. Thank you, Ms. Trousdale.
I don't have any questions, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Iverson.
Yes, sir. Doctor, you said that on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being the most alarming or most concerning, you placed the patient on an 8. Did you explain your reasons for that, please?
Okay, a scale of 10 means that her life was threatened, or she was going to be killed or murdered, but she had significant abuse. That's why I put her at 8.
Okay, and so could you elaborate on that, more reasons or more explanation for your reasons why you would put her on 8?
It was too much that somebody recorded her having sex with somebody. That's really very bad trauma. And there was extensive history of physical abuse. And also rape at a younger age, I don't remember when, is really very traumatic. But it is not as traumatic as you were going to be killed.
As you were going to be what?
Killed, or murdered.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you very much. I pass the witness.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Dick.
No further questions for this witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions from anyone else for Dr. Farag?
No, Judge.
All right. Dr. Farag, thank you very much for your time and your assistance in this matter. You are excused. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Afternoon. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ms. Dick, you may call next.
At this time, I'd like to call Ms. Galvan.
All right. And she was sworn.
All right.
Let's get Ms. Galvan, let's get you unmuted. Please. Thank you. You may proceed.
All right. Ms. Galvan, how long has CPS been involved in your life since the original case started?
Since October of last year.
Okay. And were you originally asked to complete services?
Yes.
Did you agree?
Yes.
Did you recall what services you were asked to complete?
Yes.
And what were they?
The psychiatric evaluation, the drug testing, um, the counseling services, release my medical records, keep in touch with CPS caseworker. I'm not sure. I can't really remember the rest.
Okay, was substance abuse treatment part of it?
No.
No?
No. Psychiatric evaluation was first, and then their recommendation was later.
Okay, so no substance abuse treatment.
Not until later.
When you say later, what do you mean later?
A psychiatric evaluation was first, and then the recommendation was that.
To get substance abuse treatment.
Correct.
Okay. And did you agree to do inpatient treatment for your drug addiction?
No, that was never.
That was never discussed?
No.
All right. What type of treatment were you expected to do for your drug abuse?
Follow up with a substance abuse counselor.
Okay. And who was the counselor that you met with?
I had to find my own.
Did you find one?
Yes, her name was Miss Carter. But there was a lot of mix-ups with my Medicaid and them not accepting insurance.
All right. And did you also end up finding your own counselor?
Correct.
And who was that?
Forgot her name.
How many times did you see the counselor?
I'd say about 4.
And when was the last time you saw her?
In June of this year.
Okay. And Dr. Frog testified that you had been given prescriptions for a drug to deal with the opioid addiction.
Yes.
Okay. And did you get that prescription renewed?
She did refill it twice.
All right. And is there a reason why you didn't go back to her after the second time?
There was the mix-up with CPS payment. They no longer paid her, and she didn't accept my Medicaid.
Did you talk to your caseworker about that?
Yes.
Did she try to resolve it?
I don't know what their communication was.
All right. And so, to your knowledge, it was not resolved before the case, the legal case was dismissed, correct?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
So to your knowledge, it was not resolved before the legal case was dismissed, correct?
I don't know what their communication was. I don't know if it ever resolved or not.
Okay.
I found my own psychiatrist.
And who was the psychiatrist you met with?
I don't remember her name, but she referred me to another one. And then I was scheduled with her, but she was on maternity leave. I had to wait for her to come back. And then it was one appointment I missed. And then I rescheduled with her, but I do not remember her name. But she is with Harris Health Clinics.
Do you recall approximately when your last appointment was with her?
It was in August.
August?
Yes.
All right. So Did you admit to Dr. Frog that you dropped out of high school in 9th grade due to drugs and alcohol?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance at this point.
Sustained.
And Your Honor, I would just want to
right.
show the long history of drug and alcohol abuse at this point.
Right. The objection is sustained.
Thank you.
Let's pause. Let's pause right here.
All right.
Ms. Iverson? Maybe she necessarily had to mute. Ms. Iverson, just are you needing to go now?
Judge, I'm in the waiting room. I'm happy to stay until they call us back.
Okay, very good. So when they call you back, is there any way of you giving an estimate on how long that might take?
No, sir. Sometimes, I mean, actually, when they call us back, I just go ahead and stay on because sometimes we sit in those little rooms for a long time. And
Okay, so you just
so I'll stay as long as I can.
let us know when you need to absolutely get off, and then maybe just before you get off, give us a time estimate that we can return and try to call the case. I know it'll be imprecise, but we'll do our best. Okay, Ms. Dick, you may continue.
I appreciate you working around it.
Thank you.
Okay. At the time of your dismissal, of the dismissal of your case, were the children with their paternal grandmother in Corpus Christi?
No,
When did they go with their paternal grandmother?
they were set to leave June 18th, June 22nd. No, I'm sorry. It was June 28th.
So they didn't leave June 3rd after school was out?
No, they had summer school, so they had to wait.
Where was their summer school?
At Barbers Hill. Barbers Hill Middle School North or South? I think Middle School South.
Okay, and did both children have to go to summer school? Both
Sorry?
school-age children. Did both school-age children have to go to summer school?
Yes, they did.
Okay, and what was the reason for that?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Sustained.
All right. Why did the voluntary case closure to transfer placement of your children from the maternal grandmother to the paternal grandmother fail to happen?
And Judge, I'm going to object to assumes facts, not in evidence, and speculation.
Sustained.
Okay. Was a voluntary case closure discussed with you, Ms. Galvan?
Yes.
All right. And was there a reason why you didn't agree?
A case closure, dismissal? I did agree.
No, a voluntary case closure, which would have transferred the placement of your children from the maternal grandmother to the paternal grandmother.
That was never discussed. That was never a reason. That was never needed. I don't know what you're asking.
Okay, so are you saying that you've never had a drug and alcohol problem in the last year?
And Judge, I'm going to object to mischaracterizes her statement, and there was no question.
Sustained.
Okay. Is it true that you have been snorting fentanyl tablets for over a year at the time of your appointment with Dr. Farag?
For a year, yes.
Okay. And is it true that you admit to Dr. Farag that you dropped out of high school in 9th grade due to drugs and alcohol?
And Judge, again, I'm going to object to relevance.
Sustained.
When you went to the new psychiatrist, did you make her aware of the drug use that you had disclosed to Dr. Farag?
Yes.
Okay, and what was her course of treatment? What course of treatment did she recommend?
And Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Sustained. The court recalls Dr. Farag's testimony. Ms. Galvan, how old are you, ma'am?
39.
All right, thank you. Next question.
Did you admit to the caseworker that you and Mr. Aguilar had been doing drugs together?
And Judge, I'm going to object to one time frame.
Well, yeah, time frame, so we'll know who the caseworker was.
In April of 2024, did you admit to the caseworker that you and Mr. Aguilar had been doing drugs together?
Yes.
Okay, and how long had it been in April since you had had a protective order against him?
It expired in February.
Okay, so February to April, and you were doing drugs with them.
And Judge, I'm going to object to that question. I don't know what question is being asked. It went from drug to protective order, and there's no time frame on any of it.
I think you did establish a time frame on the protective order being in February and the admission of drug use in April.
The objection is overruled. Ask it again, though, please.
Okay. Hold on a minute. Sorry. Okay, so between February and April, what had changed between you and Mr. Aguilar?
Pertaining to what?
Pertaining to your relationship.
We were co-parenting.
All right. And did CPS ask you to do a safety plan so that the children didn't have contact with him without supervision?
They are, I'm not sure.
Okay, so you're saying that they
yes.
weren't, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially, what type of supervision was required of Mr. Aguilar so that he could see the children?
They wanted my mother to be present when he's seen the kids and me not to be around.
Okay, and did that occur?
He never visited again.
All right. Where is Mr. Aguilar living now?
In downtown Houston. Well, he's incarcerated now, but in downtown Houston.
Okay, and did he ever move in with you?
No.
Okay, and were you both served at your house?
Yes.
Okay, and why is that?
He was here visiting.
And was he visiting with any supervision?
No, the case was dismissed, so there was no need for it.
So you had no concerns over Mr. Aguilar seeing the children despite everything that had occurred between the two of you?
No.
All right. Did you believe that he would harm your children?
No.
Do you think that it was harmful to the children to have contact with him after the abuse that you experienced with him?
No.
Why not?
Because he would never hurt them. He's never, he's never acted that way towards them. He's never shown any type of anger, abuse, anything towards the children.
He was using drugs still when he came back into your life.
And Judge, I would object to speculation unless Ms. Galvin has any personal knowledge as to that.
And I joined.
She testified that they used drugs together.
Yes, before.
Wait, Ms. Galvin, wait, there's objection, and I believe Ms. Trousdale's talking too.
I was just going back to my objection. there was no time frame. It was a general question of had she done drugs with him before, but there was no time frame as to when that took place.
Okay.
And I don't believe she.
Yeah, thank you. Get us a time frame, please, Ms. Dick.
In April of 2024.
And I'm
What's the
sorry, what's the
question?
question?
Sorry, did you use drugs with Mr. Aguilar in April of 2024?
No.
When did you use drugs with him? That spring?
Before he was asked to, before the protective order went into play.
Okay. And were you asked to drug test during that time period?
Was I asked to drug test for CPS?
Yes.
Yes.
And were you asked to do a hair follicle?
Yes.
And were there concerns after the hair follicle?
And Judge, I
Object-
need the time frame on, my objection will be the time frame on what hair follicle, when it was taken.
The hair follicle was in April of 2024.
All right, you can answer as to that hair follicle, Ms. Galvan.
And Judge, I
No.
would object to speculation if I'm not sure who she's asking who was concerned with the result.
Yeah.
Dick,
I don't understand the question.
If you will re-ask the question, please.
Okay. Was the department concerned after the hair follicle was taken?
And
I
Judge,
never heard that from them.
sorry, we're talking over each other. I'm going to object to speculation.
All right, sustained.
So do you believe that you have a strong primary support system in your life?
Yes.
And who is in that system?
My mother, my father, my grandmother, my stepdad.
And how do they provide support to you?
My mother helps me with my children. My stepfather does too. My dad he helps me whenever I need it.
And your children attend the Barbers Hill School District?
Yes.
And have they been sick this year?
Yes.
And how many days of school have they missed so far?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance. At this point, it's sufficient expedition, Judge.
Sustained.
Okay. Were the children recently sick?
Yes.
Okay. Did you take them to the doctor right away?
Yes.
And what was their diagnosis?
And Judge, I'm going to object to hearsay.
Sustained.
All right. How long were the children out of school?
And Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Sustained.
To your knowledge, does Mr. Aguilar still have a drug problem?
And Judge, I'm going to object to speculation.
Overruled.
What was the question?
To your knowledge, does Mr. Aguilar still have a drug problem?
No.
And how were you able to determine that?
He's told me that.
And do you trust him?
Yes, I believe him.
All right. And are you getting any treatment at all right now for substance abuse?
I'm still seeing my regular doctors.
And who are they?
Dr. Kapili, and I'm still seeing the psychiatrist through Harris Health.
How often do you see the psychiatrist?
My next appointment is October 8th.
And how often in terms of the last appointment? When was the last appointment?
And Judge, I'm going to object to asked and answered.
Sustained.
Do you believe the children will be safe with you if you continue to use drugs?
And Judge, I'm going to object to there's assumes facts that are not in evidence. There's been no testimony at all that says about Ms. Galvan using drugs today.
Sustained.
And how old are you now?
39.
If you were tested today for drugs, a urinalysis, a hair follicle, what would be the results?
Just my medications that I'm prescribed.
And what are your current medications?
Judge, I'm going to object to relevance.
Overruled.
And hearsay.
Would you like for me to read you the list?
Overruled. Overruled. You may answer.
Would you like for me to read you the list?
I'm going to object to reading from a document not in evidence if she's reading from a list.
That's right. Ms. Dick, if you would re-ask your question, please.
To your best memory, what are your current medications?
Trileptal, clonidine, lisinopril, I don't remember the name. It's the bipolar medication.
Has that been helpful to you?
Yes.
All right. So between the medication and the seeing the psychiatrist, would you say that has made a significant change?
It has helped me a lot.
And are you able to discuss any concerns you might be having with the psychiatrist? And I think originally I asked what you said your next appointment is October 8th. Are you seeing the psychiatrist monthly?
Yes.
No further questions. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ivory Lindsay.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Galvan, have you had any issues taking care of your children since this case has been dismissed?
No.
Was there any issues as far as Dad coming to visit? Have you had any issues with him in terms of the children?
No.
Has he been abusive to you in any way when he comes to visit the children?
No.
Do you believe that if any of those incidents occurred, that you would definitely seek help if that happened?
Yes.
And your mother, is she still heavily involved with you and the children?
Yes.
And is she a good support network for you?
Yes.
Have you been still taking your medication as prescribed?
Yes.
Has this medication affected your ability in any way to take care of your children?
No.
Do you have any current concerns as far as the safety and welfare of your children?
No.
Have you even taken any illegal substances since this case has been dismissed?
No.
And you did the psychiatric evaluation back in April, correct?
Yes.
And one of the recommendations from that treatment well, from that evaluation was for you to continue with a psychiatrist, correct?
Yes.
For you to continue with medication.
Yes.
But for the issue with the payment through CPS, you would have continued with Dr. Farrell, correct?
Yes.
And you took the initiative to find your own doctors to continue your medical.
Yes.
And in the event that you do have some issues, do you have a plan in place on what that would be to,
Yes.
to help take care of that?
Definitely. Yes.
Okay. And when this case was initially dismissed, there was no, according to your testimony, there was no discussion as to a voluntary closure with your children being with one of the grandparents, correct?
No. Correct.
And once the judge signed the order in June, how soon after did the department come and contact you again?
It wasn't until Miss Rhonda showed up.
Okay. And Ms. Rhonda told you that the case hadn't been closed or that it was closed incorrectly, correct?
Correct.
And they talked to your neighbors, correct?
Correct.
And your neighbors actually had some concern that CPS was constantly contacting them.
Yes.
And they contacted your mother. They reached out to her.
Yes.
And at that point, were there any safety concerns for your children for CPS to come and be bothering you about?
No.
Give me one more second, Judge. I'm sorry. Let me read my notes.
All right.
And you were never referred to inpatient, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Were there any services that you did not perform for the department?
Correct. No.
Okay.
I did them all.
Okay. That's all I have, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Trousdale.
Ms. Galvin, I'm Allison Trousdale. I'm Mr. Aguilar's attorney. At one point, there was a protective order in place, and Mr. Aguilar was not to be around you. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And while that protective order was in place, did Mr. Aguilar respect that order?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. He was, to the best of your knowledge, he was cooperative with that?
Yes.
Okay. Once the order expired, was it your understanding that Mr. Aguilar could be around you and the children?
Yes.
Okay. And at any point after it expired, was he disruptive of your home as far as you and the children?
No.
Or in any way? Okay. And did he reside with you at any time after that protective order expired?
No.
At this time, he's incarcerated, correct? You know that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And have you spoken with him since he's been incarcerated?
Yes.
Okay. And has he, since you've spoken with him, has he made any threats on the phone, or has he said anything to you that influenced your testimony today?
No.
And you say he lives in Houston, correct? He has an apartment in Houston?
Yes.
Okay. And has he told you that he's working?
Yes.
And has he told you know that he's currently on probation, correct?
Yes.
And you're aware that there are certain provisions of his probation?
Correct.
Okay. And has he told you what those provisions are?
No.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Iverson.
No questions, Judge.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Ms. Dick.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Any other questions from anyone for Ms. Galvan? All right.
No, Judge.
Ms. Galvan, you may go back to mute. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Dick, you may call your next, if any.
No other witnesses, Your Honor. Thank you. In the state rest.
All right. Ms. Ivory Lindsay.
No, Judge, I don't have any other witnesses.
All right. And Ms. Trousdale.
I don't have any witnesses, Judge.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Iverson.
No witnesses, Judge.
All right, thank you. Do the three of you all rest as well?
Yes, Judge, I
Yes,
rest.
sir.
All right. Thank
Yes,
you.
Judge.
All right. Thank you. At this time, the court will take very brief and concise closing arguments. Ms. Dick, do you want to start, or Ms. Ivory Lindsay?
I'll pass at
All right.
this point. I may come back. Thank you.
Ms. Ivory Lindsay, you may.
Just briefly, Judge, Ms. Galvan, as the court is well aware, this case was originally filed back when there were some issues that Ms. Galvan has now addressed. There was an order that was signed in June of this year, Judge, and the department had an opportunity to extend it. They had an opportunity for her to remain doing services if they felt she needed it. All parties in this matter were aware that there was a motion to dismiss signed by you, Judge, and they didn't at that time. I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'm sorry, Ms. Dick?
Seem to have been present.
I still did not hear you, Ms. Dick.
I could not. Sorry, hold on one moment.
Oh, you could not hear Ms. Lindsay?
No, I couldn't hear anything. It was an unstable connection and everyone froze.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Lindsay,
It's okay.
You may continue.
And so the judge, all parties were aware prior to the signing of this dismissal that the case was going to be dismissed. At no time did anyone want to come to court that day to say that these services needed to be extended and that she wasn't in compliance. And so after June 1st, there has been no issues. There's been no evidence presented, just pure speculation that mom has had these issues in the past and that they are continuing to affect her children. They haven't produced anything as far as Ms. Galvan continuing to use drugs, that she's not following up with her psychiatrist, that she's not continuing her medication, or even if there's any continuing danger to these children at all. So, Judge, we would respectfully ask that the court dismiss this motion to participate.
All right, thank you. Ms. Trousdale.
And Judge, I think the department has failed to show that services are necessary for my client. There's not been any testimony that he's been disruptive in anything other than hearsay, that his behavior has been anything other than cooperative and protective of the children since the case was dismissed. And he is currently incarcerated and on probation, has certain provisions of probation. Those were not presented today, but everyone is aware that he's on probation and he has the ordinary provisions. And I think that's an extra safety net if there's one that's needed. And I don't think it'd be anything outside of what the department would be asking anyway. But I think they failed to meet the burden, and I would ask that you deny them relief today as far as ordering my client to participate in services specifically for the department.
All right, thank you. Ms. Iverson?
Just briefly, Judge, I won't argue that some procedural balls have definitely been dropped and overlooked, and that's regretful. But I still think there are a lot of unanswered questions that are very pertinent to the safety and well-being of these children. And I would like the department and your supervision and mine to continue to be involved.
All right, Ms. Iverson, thank you. Ms. Dick?
Okay. Your Honor, I think that based on the, there were some, unfortunately, procedural balls that were dropped. However, we also were not getting clear information at times. We had tried to continue to offer services so she could actually complete her services, and that opportunity was denied to the department. There is significant history here, and therefore we had to stay close and monitor what was going on in the case. We haven't had all of the support team here, that's certain, and there are still concerns over the extensive drug use that was occurring and the immediate, according to the mother, immediate changes that resulted from simply changing one or two medications and speaking with a psychiatrist once a month. After 24 years of addiction, it just is, there are still serious threats to the continued security of these children. The department would like to have the opportunity to see that the mother, Ms. Galvan, finishes her services and that there is an orderly resolution to this case. There were lots of changes at the end where Ms. Galvan was saying she was going to choose her own therapist and psychiatrist and all those sorts of things, and it did create some chaos. And there was also the situation with the paternal grandmother who had routinely taken the children for the summer. But there are still red flags. The department has concern over for the safety of these children. And at this point in time, we would ask that simply some of these services be ordered just to have the completion of services that are normal in this case, in this type of case, for the safety of the children. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much. The court believes that when it signed the order dismissing the suit back in the early part of June of this year, that all of the department's concerns either had been or were being addressed. Now, inasmuch as when the prior case began, the court was able to find all of the elements necessary to order services. In this instance, the evidence simply does not show that since its order dismissing the case, there has been abuse or neglect. And inasmuch as there may be a risk of abuse or neglect, it is not, as the legislature has required, a significant risk of abuse or neglect shown by the evidence today, let alone a continuing danger demonstrated by an act or admission by way of evidence of either parent today. The court finds that since its order dismissing the case, the mother has kept the children safe and has cared for them, and that generally she is on the same trajectory in terms of services for herself in order to provide a safe environment that she was performing at the close of the case in June, let alone the court being unable to find that services are necessary to ensure the safety, physical health of the children going forward. So the department's request, motion, petition is hereby denied. The court believes that the department should leave this family alone unless and until there is a report or an intake of abuse or neglect, or one of the parents calls the department and asks for services, resources, and/or referrals. So that's the decision of the court. The court makes that decision based on the best interest and the safety of children. Anything else from anyone else?
No, Judge.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you all very much. Please take care. And we are adjourned. The Second Regional Child Protection Court
Thank you, Your Honor.
Chambers County is adjourned until October the 7th at 9 a.m. Thank you all very much. Please take care. You're excused.